Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a flip through of a journal that I made for a swap, and this journal was for a swap done with Charise from Pink Chic Vintage Creations, and I have received her journal and I need to do a flip through of that as well. That will be up on my channel, and this one I'm doing the video now. I'm going to ship this to her and I will show it to you once she has received it. So this journal is fabric covered, and it has a pink tie closure with some beautiful vintage lace around the closure. So it's one signature, it's stitched on the outside, and it's a beautiful floral fabric. So I just want to show it to you before I package it up and mail it. So there's a thank you note, and inside I've included a journaling tag and then a vintage coaster. So everything in here, and there's some lace here in this beautiful fabric that I've actually sold in some recent bundles. I really like this fabric. So everything in here is pretty much vintage or tea stained, and I've added some pretty floral fabrics onto botanical book pages, and there's some vintage florals here, and really old dictionary page with some vintage wallpaper and some trim on a doily, and I've stitched around here to the page. So another vintage botanical, and on this side it just had all the writing, so I stitched some tea stain paper so that there would be more journaling space. This is a really old magazine page, some beautiful vintage wallpaper, and some trim that I've added to the back, and then I have stitched on this cardstock and some old brown, actually the record tab dividers are underneath that, and I've zigzag stitched some fabric with a lace tab at the top, so that slips right in there. Here we have a botanical from a book and a little piece of lace stitched on to some tea stained grid paper. Botanical book page, and here's an old vintage ice cream sandwich bag, and inside I've put a little things to do list and then a collaged tag. And across from that is the beautiful vintage botanical. And over here on the corner I've just done a little bit of collaging with a piece of that doily and an acetate flower that's stitched to the page. Some old Sears catalog. And this is a beautiful floral bag stitched to the paper that you can journal on top of. And here is some eyelet fabric, and inside I've just included some list paper, some score paper, and some receipts for her to use. Another vintage botanical, and then a little piece of quilting over here. This is really old German, I believe, book page, and the kindergarten ledger page. I really like, or ledger, it's a grade book. I really like this because you can journal all around this or collage on top of it. And here is a book page that opens up like this, and you can journal in those places or add pictures. She can, I should say she, I guess it's going to her. And then tea stain pages, more vintage botanicals, some zigzag stitching for this fabric hinge, and the other pocket, and there's just some vintage paper in there for writing. More floral bag and a Sears catalog. And this is an envelope that I covered in wallpaper and just stuck some journaling paper in there. And inside this, there's an envelope with some vintage playing cards and a vintage pharmacy label and a word vocabulary card. And this actually is vintage wallpaper that is stitched or glued to the inside of that pocket. And the back of the envelope wraps around here, forming a little tuck spot, and I've made a little booklet with some extra writing paper that just slips in there. And this is just torn from a book, and I've inked the edges and stitched it to the edge of this really old dictionary page just to make it a little stronger, and it's backed with vintage wallpaper. More botanicals. I don't know if you can see, but there's green wording on this book page, and it's so pretty side by side with that. And here I've just done some collaging so that there's room to write on top of this word page. Some vintage wallpaper border and more botanicals. A little snippet of that pretty fabric that makes the pockets right there. And in the back, I have another one of those botanical tags. This is on the record tab divider paper, which is really old. And then a New York Central System receipt. Some more lace and that beautiful fabric. So that's the journal that I made for her. And I hope you enjoyed that. And I'll be doing another video to show the one that she made me, which you'll see that one first because I already have it and it'll take her a while to get this one. She was much faster than I was, but thanks for stopping by and I'll see you next time. Bye!